welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you a video that has been very highly requested, and I am going to share with you all of my favorite mediums that I use for backgrounds. I'm going to show you a few of the different pages that I have created those backgrounds on. A lot of them have been tutorials here on my channel. But down in the description box below, I will make sure I either link my playlist that has all of the background tutorials in it that I've ever done. There's quite a few of them, or I will link every video individually. I will try to link as many as I can up in the upper right hand corner, but YouTube will only allow me to link 5, and there are many more than that. All of the videos that I refer to as I go through this and share the mediums with you, you will very easily be able to access all of those tutorials. But you can always go back and search my channel. If you go click on videos at the upper tab, if you're on a computer or even I think on a phone, there's a little search bar right above, and that search bar will search just my channel and not all of YouTube. So I hope that is a little bit helpful. But we are going to go ahead and get into this video, and I am very excited to share all of the mediums that I love using for backgrounds. So I pulled this one out first because I wanted to be able to emphasize that I'm not making this video to overwhelm you. I know I have a lot of beginners that watch my videos. I do a lot of videos geared towards beginners, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone or anything like that. So I wanted to pull this page out, and those of you that followed this color along, you've seen this page before. This artwork is by Mariola Budek, and I absolutely love her artwork. Her images are beautiful. This was a grayscale image, and when I was done coloring it, I thought that it looked beautiful just the way that it was, and I thought if I added a background, it would take away from the beauty of the actual image after I added all the color to it. So I didn't want to do that. So this one I left without a background. I don't know yet if I will go back one day and maybe add a background to this in the near future, but as for right now, I love the way that it looks, and I just wanted to leave it just the way it was. I was afraid that I would take away from the completed coloring page by adding that background to it. So don't always feel like you have to add a background. That's not the purpose for this video, but there are lots of pages that would look much better with a background, and new mediums are really fun to experiment with. If you are bringing a new medium to a coloring page, I always suggest printing out a second copy of your coloring page so that you could practice before you go to your coloring page and do anything on it, especially if it's a medium that you have never used before. And I always do that myself. I don't ever touch a coloring page that is completed and experiment with a new medium that I have never used before, because to me, that's just scary. I mean, who wants to mess up their coloring page after they have put so much work into something? Definitely not me. So these Mungio pastels are the first thing that I want to share with you. So these are fabulous, and you could find these on Amazon for so cheap, but they come just like this. They come in the sleeve, and then they come in this little box here, and you just pop the top off, and you've got all these gorgeous colors. And they are so easy to use, and they're a wonderful medium to learn with. Now, I do want you to know, if you are going to use a medium like pastels, you do need a fixative. This is the workable fixative that I use. You want to make sure you use this because you don't want your pastels to move around on the page or get in the other areas of the page that you've colored if you're just using these for a background. You can also use these to lay down on your objects on your coloring page and use them as a coloring medium if you wanted to, but you are going to need to spray a fixative over them, and then I believe after that you probably can go back over them with your colored pencils if you wanted to do that. I'm going to show you a page now that I used these Mungio pastels on. So this is The Imaginary World of Jane Hankins, Volume 2. This book is absolutely wonderful. All the paper is professional grade paper. It's 80 pounds, and you get 25 images, 25 9x12 images, and the paper is so nice in these books. It's like a dream to work with. So I have it marked here, the page that I wanted to share with you. So there is a tutorial for this page, but this is what the pastels are going to look like. Of course, it's only in the background. Everything else was done with Prismacolor pencils, and there is a little bit of glitter on here too, like on the top of her eyes, and over here I see a little bit of glitter. But all the rest of it is definitely colored pencils, Prismacolors, and the background was all done, just the background, in the Mungio pastels. And then of course I did use the fixative to spray it to make sure that the pastel does not move around or come over here on the other side of the book or the other page. But this book is one-sided. If you're using this medium in a book that has double-sided pages, you definitely want to make sure that you spray it with a fixative right away. But there is a tutorial, a full tutorial on how I did this, and that is one that I will make sure is linked in the upper right-hand corner of this video. So if you have these pastels, you can follow this tutorial even if you have other pastels that you want to use. Another medium that is really, really wonderful are the pan pastels, but they are very, very expensive, and I don't have those. I've heard from others how wonderful they are, and I want them so badly. But until I can afford to purchase the pan pastels, this is a fantastic alternative. And if you're a beginner and you don't want to overwhelm yourself with a whole bunch of coloring supplies, start out with these, because you could get these between $8 and $10. They're always between $8 and $10 on Amazon, and they are wonderful. You could see by this page that they go down very smoothly and very, very nicely, and it just makes the page look complete. The next medium I want to discuss are colored pencils. Now, I don't recommend using colored pencils for a background if you are not trying to do some particular technique with them, and that is the only reason that I ever use them for a background on a coloring page. Now, this one here was a full color along. This was a free page that Deborah Muller had provided to my Facebook group. And so this entire color along is on my channel. I will link that for you, as well as the background tutorial where I created this bokeh background. Now, this was the first time doing this for me, but if you follow my tutorial, I'm pretty sure that you can do it too. It was not that difficult to do, but this is done with Prismacolors. I really enjoyed doing this, and I think that it just really brought the whole page together. This was a limited color palette, so that's why a lot of the colors from here were brought into the background, and I really love how it turned out. This one here was another color along that we did on my channel, and this one was also done with Prismacolors, and I used the Prismacolors in the background of the globe. And as you can see, I left the actual background of the page just completely alone, because again, I thought that if I did a background, it would take away from what I had already done. And so I was afraid again to do a background. And like I said, you don't always have to do one. If you think that it's going to take away from what you've done, then don't, because for instance, on this one, you could see that the palette was very limited. I have a lot of gold and blue, and of course the different tones of white and grays and such for the snow. There's also a tutorial where I showed you how to create snow, and I love the way that it turned out. Had I added a background to this, it definitely would have taken away from it, because what colors were I going to go with? I was either going to go with gold or blue, and if I chose gold, it would sort of blend into the base of the globe, and if I chose blue, it would take away from this background on the inside of the globe. So that is why I didn't do it on this one. I didn't want to add another color. I wanted it to stay just all gold and blue, and I think it turned out really, really nicely. But there is definitely a tutorial for this one, and I showed you how to create the clouds with Prismacolor, or this cloudy looking background effect, and I love the way that it turned out. But again, I only used the Prismacolors because I was working on a particular technique and trying to create something with the colored pencils. And this one here is from Johanna's Christmas, and you could see that I just tore the page out of the book. The pages in that book are perforated, and I just thought it would be better if I pulled this out of the book and kept it separate in my binder. This is Hannah Lynn's Mythical Maidens and Curious Creatures. And long ago, I colored this one, and this was before I ever knew anything about using other mediums for backgrounds. Seriously, when I colored this, all I owned were colored pencils. I had just gotten my 150 set of Prismacolors, and that is the only thing that I had, aside from a few of the things I have now pulled out of my children's homeschool cabinet from when they were small. And I had some Neocolors in there and some other things. Because I was very much a beginner, I would not even had known to be able to pull that out. And I wanted a background, and I wanted to make sure this was all colored in, and I wanted to complete the page. So I did all of this with Prismacolors. And I love the way that it turned out, but to be able to cover the white of the paper, this was a whole lot of work. Between the clouds and up here and getting a really good blend of those colors and pulling it down to make it look white closer down here to create that sort of cloudy background, or a night sky, I guess is what I was trying to create. I really love the way that it turned out, but by the time I was done with this, I mean, I had to do it in a few different sittings, because by the time I was done getting all that color down on the paper with just 3 colored pencils or 4, whatever I had used, my hand was hurting really bad. So I don't suggest doing something like that. Like I said, if you're going to use colored pencils, use it if you're going to create something or do some sort of technique like I did on either one of these backgrounds here. Okay, the next medium that I absolutely love are the Caran Neocolors, and I finally got my 84 set. I'm so excited about that. All I had that were years and years old that I didn't even know, like I said, from the last coloring page that I showed you, I didn't even know that you could use those for backgrounds way back when I was a beginner. And many of you that are following me that are beginners probably don't realize that either, but I do have tutorials on my channel. But these are the Neocolors, and they are wonderful. They are rather expensive, and I held out a very long time before I was able to get these, but I am so happy to have these now. But this is what they look like. That is both trays. So this is the top tray, and then this is the bottom tray. There's some gorgeous colors in here. And of course, they are made by Caran, and anything you purchase from Caran is always going to be extreme quality. I absolutely love my Pablos. I love these Neocolors. I love my Luminance, but they are always going to be wonderful, but they're going to be expensive. Okay, so those are my Neocolors, and I'm going to grab a page that I did that I also have a tutorial for. So this is Hannah Lynn's Magical Dawn. This is one of my favorite coloring books. And so this is a page that we did. There is a full color along on my channel for this if you would like to follow along. But there were lots of tutorials in this color along, and I really enjoyed doing this one. But this background here was done with the Neocolors, and I don't really recommend this paper for the Neocolors because they are water-soluble wax pastels, and so when you add the water to them, you're going to end up with a very crinkly page, and this book has been through so much. And I really need to purchase another one. I'm probably going to do that as soon as I'm done filming this video, because this book has been through so much. I've used it for a tester for so many different things. Of course, this page here, where I wanted to show everybody how to use the Neocolors. But I'm going to show you another page that I also have a tutorial for that the Neocolors did much, much better on another paper. So you could use these Neocolors just to create a watercolor looking background, just like this one. Or you can use it for techniques. Now let me show you what else I have done with that. But this one is from Rachel Mintz's friendship book, and I absolutely love the way that this turned out. This one is done with a lot of Inktense, and this is all Inktense here. This is all Inktense here. I created the grass with Inktense. And there is also a fur tutorial on my channel. I colored this with Prismacolors, and then when I was done, I thought a background would be absolutely beautiful on this one. I still need to come back down here and finish the bottom of the page because I didn't complete it. I even thought about just cutting this right here because I thought that would look good too, but I'm probably going to come back with my Inktense and pull all of this down and sort of blend all of this in. But this one here was a tutorial showing you how to create a clad background. So this was a technique that I did using the Neocolors, and I absolutely love the way that it turned out. And it was rather simple to do. Yes, I practiced a couple times before I did the video. Like I said earlier, when you're using a new medium or you're trying a new technique, always practice. I had printed out another page of this sheet and I practiced on another page before I brought it to my actual coloring page because I did not want to mess up my coloring page. These are my Jane Davenport palette pastels, and I love these. It comes with 4 different sets. I'm not even sure if every one of these are still available on Amazon. I think last time I went back and checked, there were only a few still available on Amazon, so I'm not sure where else you could purchase these. But this one here is chilled, and I'll open this and just hold it closer so you could see all the gorgeous colors. Look how pretty those are. And these are so soft and they go down on the paper so nicely. But each one of these are going to cost between $12 and $15. So if you were to purchase all of them, it's going to be more expensive than purchasing something like the Mungio pastels. And with those, you're going to get 64 colors for between $8 and $10. This one is called Mineral Eyes. For those of you that are not familiar with Jane Davenport, she does a lot of portrait work. Oh, I just spilled this all over my desk. But she does a lot of portrait work, and this is meant to fill in the portraits after you draw them by adding glitter. So this is like the eye palette. That's why it's called Mineral Eyes. So it's sort of like eyeshadows, but they're very, very glittery. I don't know if you can see that on camera. You probably can with the lighting that I have hitting it, but they are really, really nice. And when they came to me from Amazon, they were sort of like this already. I definitely did not use, oh goodness. Look at that on my fingers though. Look how shiny that is. But I definitely did not use all of these. They did come from Amazon broken, and there was really no sense in sending these back. Look at my hands. Oh my goodness. It's so glittery. It's definitely like eyeshadow. But there was no sense in sending it back, even though that one broke and got, you know, into a lot of the other ones, because these are so glittery that I think it made the texture much different than the other ones. And so they're super, super soft. But there's some gorgeous colors in here. I'm going to close that up before I make any more of a mess. And then this one is called Lit Up. And here are the colors in this one. Beautiful, bright, vibrant colors. And then this one is called Birthday Suit, and so this one is for skin. But of course you can use these for whatever you wanted to and not generally just skin. And I've actually used these to color in an entire drawing that I did. And I used just the pastels, and I used these here. These are the little baton blenders that she also has available, and I believe these are still on Amazon. And I'll show you what these look like. You can just purchase a eyeshadow applicator instead of using these. I believe these might be close to $10. But let me pull one out to show you what they look like. They're going to be much longer than most eyeshadow applicators, but you could just go to the Dollar Tree and you could grab some eyeshadow applicators, and those are really nice to lay down your Mungio pastels or these Jane Davenport palette pastels. Okay, so again, I have Hannah Carlson's Magical Dawn. Like I said, this is my favorite coloring book. My favorite coloring book by Hannah Carlson. But this is a page I did, and I used the Jane Davenport palette pastels to do this background. But you can see that it looks very much like the one where I used the Mungio pastels. I will bring this one back just so you could see that they lay down very much the same. And this is the one that was done with the Mungio pastels. And this is the one that was done with the Jane Davenport palette pastels. And like I said, you can buy those Mungio pastels, and I will have a link for all of this down in the description box below if you would like to easily be able to find them on Amazon. But you can grab the Mungio pastels, which look just as nice as the Jane Davenport pastels. I mean, I love my Jane Davenport pastels. They may be a little bit softer, but you really can't tell that much of a difference between the laydown of either one of these. But I really love this page and how it turned out. There is also a bubble tutorial on my channel for how I did these bubbles. I love how those turned out as well. But I love how this background on here just really brought everything together, and you could see I just did a lot of the purple right here through the center, and then I let the pink just come outward, and then I lightened it up as I came down, and I think I even used a different color down here rather than the pink. But I love this page. It's one of my favorite pages that I've ever colored. But that was done with the Jane Davenport palette pastels. And to lay this down, I did actually use these baton blenders, and they worked really well. And I think I probably even used the baton blenders with the Jane Hankins page as well. I would have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I probably did. The next thing that I have to share with you, first, can we just take a minute to look at this beautiful pencil case? This is my absolute favorite pencil case, and I purchased it because I found it in Walmart, and y'all know I love mermaids, but look how this just changes color. It's so iridescent and it looks so mermaid-esque, and it's got like the little mermaid fins. I just love this. But I put my Faber-Castell Gelatos in here. This is what they look like. And these are another wonderful medium. And of course you can add water to these. One of the kits that I purchased, or maybe both of the kits that I purchased, maybe they all come with these, but this is the brush that Faber-Castell puts in the kits because these are sold in groups. I think I have the pastel set and then a bright set, but I will make sure these are linked down in the description box below. But look at all these beautiful colors. This is what they look like. And then when you pop this off, they just sort of look kind of like a chapstick or something, or a lipstick, but you could stick your brush directly in them after it's wet, and you could put it on your page like that, or you can just rub it on your page like this and then use your brush to spread it out. But I do have a tutorial for these as well. But let me go ahead and just show you a couple of the colors. Look at this gorgeous light blue. This, okay, so it does say pastels. So this is from the pastel set. It will tell you on the tube exactly what set it came from. So this is definitely the pastels, and this is just a gorgeous like tealish green type color or blue type color. And then here we've got some darker colors, and does this one say on it which one it is from? No, I don't think this one says, but this color is called Boysenberry, so I'll go look up that color and I'll see exactly which sets I have. This is another one from the pastel set. It's called Caramel. And then here is another one from the other set, and I believe I only have two sets. This one is called Lemon. But these are great if you do card making or to use on the backgrounds of your coloring pages, or possibly even to actually use on your actual coloring page that you're coloring, and you could probably even use it with another medium as well. But I really love these, and sometimes I forget about them. And I totally forgot that I had them until I went back to prepare for this video. I went back and started looking through my background tutorials so I can make sure that I had everything laid out and I prepared for the video before I started filming. But I actually forgot that I had these. But this book here is Whimsy Girls Christmas. This is by Hannah Lynn. And this was a color along that we did, and this whole background is done with those Faber-Castell Gelatos, and this was the first time that I ever used the Faber-Castell Gelatos. And like I said before, I always test out a new medium on another page, so I tested it out a couple times on another page. I believe this coloring book has 2 pages of each coloring page in it, and this page is also, or was also available for free for quite some time. I don't know if it still is. It probably should be, maybe on Hannah's website. I don't remember exactly how to get this for free. It may be if you sign up for her mailing list. And I think that you get a bunch of coloring pages if you sign up for her mailing list. I'll have to check on that. After I laid down all of the gelatos, I came back with, I think this is actually acrylic paint, and I probably should have added some glitter to these. I think I might come back and add glitter to those, but I added glitter all down here around the whipped cream and the marshmallows, and I should have added glitter to those as well. But this is a full tutorial on my channel, and I'll make sure that this one is linked for you as well. And then I have this one, and this one I did a little bit different than I've ever done any other background. And I actually used markers, alcohol markers. And there is a full tutorial on this one as well. I also showed you how I added all these little stars right on top of the background in that tutorial. But these are the markers that I use. These are my Cali Art markers, and I absolutely love these markers. Now I have the full set of the Ohuhu brush markers. So I come back to these every once in a while. I've been using my Ohuhus a lot more, but this is what I used for these, and there's actually a tutorial showing you how I did all of this that I will make sure is linked for you. But I just used the black Cali Art marker, and it was super, super simple. And after adding the background, if you go back and you watch that video, you'll see what this looked like before I added the background and then after I added the background, and you will be able to see how much that black made all of these other bright fluorescent like colors really, really just pop and stand out. But I love how this one turned out. This one is a whole bunch of different mediums. This one has Pablo pencils, marker, glitter. What else do I have on here? Glitter pens, and I think that's all. Oh, and I think I used Posca as well. I think this is either Posca or gel pen. I don't remember, but you will see when you go back and watch that video. And the last medium that I do want to mention, because it's one that I want to be able to get my hands on, and another tutorial that I want to bring to my channel. But these are my Derwent Inktense. And I absolutely love these in the pencil form, but they also come in blocks. So I want to be able to get the blocks because I want to be able to use the blocks for a background on a coloring page. And I've just not purchased those yet because we all know they are quite expensive. And I might do a tutorial, a background tutorial using the pencils. I don't know yet. It all depends how big the background is. And I always like to add my backgrounds after I have finished the entire page, because it's very hard for me to envision the colors or what I want the background to look like if I were to go and do the background first. That's a little bit too difficult for me to plan out in my head. So I just wanted to mention that because Derwent does also have the blocks available in the Derwent Inktense, and I've been wanting to get my hands on those for a while. So those of you that want to try a new medium or even try or take a go at the Derwent Inktense and using those for a background, that would probably be fun. I just think that the blocks would work much better and probably be a lot easier on your hand. Okay, so now let's talk about adding accents to backgrounds because that is always fun to do. These are my stickles, and those of you that have been watching my videos for quite some time, you know that I absolutely love my stickles. But when you want to come back and add a little extra to your background, if you look at this here, I'm pretty sure this is stickles on top of the stars, but I didn't just do a background and just use the alcohol markers to lay all the black down. I came back and I added these little stars on here, and if you look really closely you could see, let me move it back and forth and hopefully when the light hits it you could see, but I added some glitter on top of the stars. I love that added extra bit of bling. And I just really love the way that it turned out. But don't ever be afraid to bring in other things to lay on top of whatever background you decide to go with or to add to your background. I'm sure you could even find some creative way to use gel pens here like I did where I drew in the stars. I'm pretty sure that is gel pens. So I hope you all really enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time, and I just hadn't done it yet, but I think that this video will be helpful, and it will also be helpful in bringing together all of my background tutorials into one video. Of course, I will have my complete background playlist linked down in the description box below. If there are any background tutorials that you would like to see come to my channel, please let me know what those are, because I would be happy to do those. Even if I'm not doing a full and complete color along, I could always grab a coloring page and show you these certain techniques or a certain medium on the background of any coloring page. And if you check the description box below, everything you've seen in this video will be linked down there so that you could easily find it. And I will see you in the next one. Happy coloring. Bye.